morning, YouTube. In this video, I'm gonna keep it short. But I wanted to just kind of give you an update. In my last video, I talked about playing around with the balances on one of my credit cards, just to kind of see what kind of impact that would be. So I did a couple of things. I mentioned in my last video that I zeroed it out just to kind of see what will happen if it was going to affect my score or anything like that, and it did. But what was interesting, folks, that I did two things actually. Like, not only did I zero my balance down, but I played around with the simulator in Credit Karma. Those who have Credit Karma, there is a simulator in Credit Karma. Play around with it, but what it does is that it allows you to kind of have a projection, so to speak, of what they think, of what they think your credit score is going to be impacted by some actions that you take. And now, in my previous videos, I've gone over the platforms like Credit Karma and CreditWise and Credit Sesame, MyFICO, Experian, and all that kind of credit monitoring platforms, the banks that your banks may use, just so you can understand the difference. And I've mentioned that I prefer either MyFICO or the Experian.com app, which is what I use, just so you can track your FICO score and you can kind of get a sense of, because most businesses use the FICO score anyway, as opposed to like the Vantage score that Credit Karma uses. But I do like certain features that Credit Karma has. All right, I do like certain features that Credit Karma has, because it allows you to, again, you can use a simulator. They also have a really nice way of helping you get a sense of whether you're going to get approved for a credit card or not. It's not absolute, but it gives you a guide, it gives you a gauge. So if you're looking to get to a certain score or get to a certain qualification level for a credit card, you can watch that meter that they have, and it can be a guide. Again, it's not absolute, but it can be a guide. So anyhow, so I played around with that simulator, and what I found interesting, folks, was that when I simulated it, I don't know if that's a word or not, but once I simulated it to show that I'd paid off my balance on that card, I brought it down to zero. So it showed a score increase, right? It showed a score increase. So it showed me what they think my score would be if I paid off that card, brought my balance down to zero. And then what I did also is that, okay, I simulated it again, and this time left a very minimal balance. I think I left like I did one where I left like $5 on the card, and again, like either $5 on the card or $10 on the card or something really, really minimal. But what I saw was that they actually simulated that my score would be higher with a small balance on there, whether it be 5, 10. I think after a certain percentage to my after a certain percentage relative to my credit limit, that score began to drop. So there was a certain sweet spot in which my score will stay the same based on the balance that I was going to leave on the card. All right. But when I put that balance to zero, they simulated that my score would be lower. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that the simulator told me that my best chances of increasing my score was actually leaving a very small balance on the card. So I was like, okay, I see that, but that, like I said before in my other video, I was gonna play around with it just to kind of see what actually happens, and I was gonna play around with it from month to month, because I always kind of was leaving a small balance on there, something very minimal, so I don't pay You know, I don't pay unnecessary interest charges, but I want to make sure that my cards stay open. So I've usually left balances on my cards. But now, so what happened in reality was, when that month closed out, I saw an initial boost in my score. Just, you know, 10-point increase in my score, and I wasn't sure whether it was because my card was suddenly paid off. That's what I thought. I think that's what I said in my last video. But then when the month actually closed out and the bureaus updated their credit reports, I saw another 10-15 point increase in my score. And that was, first of all, Experian sent me the notification. It says that one of your credit card balances has very low utilization. This may have some positive, I said it has zero utilization. This may have some positive impact on your credit. I said, okay, great. So, and I popped it open. I popped my app open, and on wham, it had gone up. I think it was 15 points. I think it was. I forget. I think it was like 15 points. I'll look at it again, but about 15 points. My FICO. So that was my FICO. My FICO jumped up about 15 points, and then on my Vantage, my Vantage score actually jumped up 17 points. So about the same. 15 to 17 points. So one went up 17 points, one went up 15 points. So it definitely seems that bringing your balances down to zero has an impact on your score. Now I go back to the simulator that they gave me. So it actually my score seems to have jumped up right about the same as what they simulated, with me bringing it down to zero. I think the difference is maybe 2 or 3 points. So nothing huge, nothing that wouldn't keep me from wanting to bring my scores down to zero. So it does seem as if, again, I'll keep playing around with it and give you guys an update on what happens with all my cards if I bring them down to zero. Like all my cards down to zero, see how that impacts my score. But right now, it definitely seems as if there is an impact on your score with you bringing your utilization down to zero. Now, what it did seem to me, though, my initial judgment was that my score actually went up from the bureaus themselves. Again, Credit Karma is only a 2. And they simulated that my score would go up by a certain number of points. But it seemed to me, I think I'm accurate on this one, because I forget what the actual score was when I simulated it, or rather what it said my score would jump up to when I simulated. But it seemed to me that my actual increase when I brought down that particular card to zero was more than they actually simulated, meaning that to me it seemed as if my score went up more with my card balance being at zero than what Credit Karma thought it might go up, because they gave me the impression that leaving a small balance on my card will increase my score higher than if I had zero balance. But the reality, it seemed to me, was that my score actually went up higher with a zero balance. Now I'm going to keep tracking it, because like I said, I played around with the simulator to kind of see what that looked like, and then I wanted to see what the reality would be. Then I'll see what happens next month. I'll probably leave a very small balance on there, like $10 on this card anyway, and then kind of see what the impact will be, and then take it back up to zero, and then I'll probably make a decision. After that, I'll make a decision of whether just to bring all my cards down to zero, down to zero, as opposed to, so that my utilization is 0% every month at reporting date. And that doesn't mean I'll use my cards however way I want. Like right now, we're going on a vacation. I'm going to use my card out there. I'm going to use my cards out there. But once it's reporting date time, I'll make sure that that balance comes down to zero. like I said in my other videos, you need to know your 3 dates. You need to know your 3 most important dates. Some of them might be similar to one or the other, but you need to know your due date, your payment due date. You need to know your statement date, when the credit card company actually closes out the statement for the month. It's usually a day or 2 after your payment, but just call your bank, because every bank is different. And then you want to know what the reporting date. So just call your bank. There's a number at the back of your credit card. Just call them and ask them. All right. So that's all written in this video. I just want to give you some feedback on what I saw happen with my score, based on what I said I was going to do. Just, so if you're out there, and I encourage you to start doing the same thing with your credit card, so you can see an increase in your score. So I'm attributing that exercise that I did, again, of paying down your balances to 0, to about a 25-point difference in my score. And that could mean if you had a 690, that could suddenly mean you had a 715. If you had a 590, that could mean that you're a 615. That right there could mean the difference between qualifying for a home, qualifying for a home, and getting into that next tier where you can get the lower rates, where you can go from 5.25% on a mortgage to 3.75. It could mean that much of a difference. So just play around with it, and see what's best for you. Bring that balance down to 0 on your card. Like I said, I'm attributing about a 25-point difference. Now there could be some other things that I did, on-time payments. I'm always making sure my car payment is on time and all that kind of stuff. But that could have been the initial 10-point increase that I saw. But again, like I said, in the space of in the space of a few weeks, really, I saw about a 25-point increase in my score. And I think it's because of that. So again, this channel is all about me sharing what I think is credit intelligence. We need just to be intelligent about our credit, know what's on there, learn the things that can make it better, tweak it here and there. So all right, in my next video I want to share credit file like I've done before. You see a couple other 2 videos where I've shared some credit files and that I think can be easily improved. I had a couple examples that I want to share with you for some mid-tier credit files that I think only need a tweak or 2 to make them better. So I want to share that with you guys in one of my other videos. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit that like if you like this channel, like this video. Leave me some comments in the description, and thank you so much. Have a great day.